Yo, this is Tommy with the Hungry Millennial vlog, aka On the Spot Guy. Today I'll be talking about the pursuit of happiness. So for starter, this is episode 2 of day 2 of the 365-day vlog. And today is Sunday, April 30th, 2017. My favorite day before grind day, which is Monday, right? Just a little kind of an overview of my day. Today I started off at like 4 a.m. I started Ubering over in Lincoln Park, and then just did that all day. I didn't have any details today with on the spot detailing. Today something that's really been on my mind is the pursuit of happiness. That's what I'm calling this video today. For the most part, it's the pursuit of happiness, finding happiness, enjoying your life comes from courage. You got to be able to make that step. A little bit of my track record. About 3 months ago, I had a job making about, I say 45 grand a year. But I was unhappy because, I was putting forth 100% effort. I was giving 120% every day, but it wasn't being recognized the way that I wanted to recognize, right? And it wasn't per se the recognition factor. It was the fact that I wasn't happy in the position that I was in. I was a general manager for a sandwich shop. I won't mention the name. But the biggest thing it wasn't my passion. Motivation is my passion. Obviously, like hiring and meeting people and, motivating people to be their best self is my passion. And I kind of reached a peak, with, hiring my staff. My staff was like 70% high schoolers. So that was one of those things where, you can only, pump them up so much to make subs, right? I mean, once they got it, they're making, subs in a certain amount of time. It's like, okay, cool. And you wait for things to change from a management standpoint, from like higher up to, make key decisions. And, one day I decided, hey, they're not going to pull the trigger for, promotion to a different store. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go Uber in Chicago. And here I am. Currently I'm displaced. I have an apartment in Indiana. Right now I'm filming this video from a storage shed that I rent, and then I also pay for an address up here in the Chicago area. I started my own detailing company, On the Spot Interior Detailing. If you guys need a detail, let me know. I'm pretty slick with the interiors. My number is 618-559-7469. Again, call On the Spot Guy at 618-559-7469. So the biggest thing about courage as far as a millennial is stepping out, and actually pursuing what you say you're going to do. Many times I find, even with other generations, they'll sit down, they'll talk about their vision, but there's no action, right? So it just becomes, a bunch of people standing around, just talking, right? Just talk. It's one of everybody loves to talk, but nobody, a lot of people don't like to act. And my biggest struggle so far starting a business is, having a bunch of people, not naming any names, that, say, oh, well, I want to join, I want to be a part of it. Oh man, I think that's a great idea. But then like you call it, you hit their phone, you hit their line, you're like, hey bro, I got you some shirts, I got you, this, I want to bring you on with the business. They're like, oh, well, I got this, and I got this girl, and I got this problem. My issue with that is there's nothing wrong with, wanting to have a relationship, whatever, but like my mans, we in our 20s, right? So you only get, these years once, right? And tomorrow the entire economy could crash, right? And then we're all displaced, right? And then you're at the mercy, just like ESPN recently, they were at the mercy of, ownership, higher up. They were just letting people go left and right. And I didn't like that feeling of instability. So my thing was like, if I create my own thing, right, and build a solid foundation, there's a lot of people out here, they're making money off of social media, but they're taking, 3 vacations per summer. They're partying every weekend. They're turning up, There's nothing wrong with turning up and partying, but at the same time, you got to think about if you feel like you're that number one person, you got to think about that number two or that number three person that's trying to take your spot. One of my favorite motivational speakers is Eric Thomas. He always talks about how we want somebody to give us 100% guarantee on life, but we haven't guaranteed 100% on life to ourselves, right? We haven't given ourselves a 100% guarantee. Every day that I wake up, it's a struggle, right? Because sometimes I don't know where I'm gonna sleep, which is cool, whatever. I just don't like depending on people because people like to throw it in your face, right? So if you can make it on your own, Gary Vee always talks about, you eat crap for 24 months and then, live 24 months, moving forward into that realm of success, right? Because, like ultimately when you're trying to pursue happiness in your life is relative to self-awareness, but you have to be aware that like if you're in your comfort zone, 9 out of 10 times you're not gonna reach that level of success that you want to reach. And I found the more uncomfortable I am, the harder I work, and then the more luck that I do have. And so that's been huge in the process of me building my business. Right now I've probably detailed 10 cars. I started my business 3 weeks ago. We have a Q&A about some of the things that I did to start the business. I'll address that here a little bit later. But I think, the biggest thing as far as millennials is going out and pursuing something. Like, you can't listen to mom and dad, right? Obviously they love you, they care about you, but if they haven't been there to start a business, who are they to give you the advice on starting that business? They might have tips and tricks along the way, but if it's not coming in a positive outlook, then why are you even listening to them? Because they've never even, or if they started a business, did they start the same business that you're trying to start? This is a different time period, right? So, the economy was a little bit different when they started things, right? No disrespect to them, but at the same time, you got to find a way to get it on your own. And I think, for me, I didn't really I came from a background where, I joined the military back in 2009 when I was 17 years old. And then from then on, I didn't really have any parental guidance. So it was a little bit easier for me because I was raised in the ghetto. I was raised in the hood. A lot of times we didn't even have water. We had to go to the neighbor's house, to get water. We went for months, boiling water on the stove to take baths, right? So I come from an impoverished background. So, a lot of people's struggles that they have, I don't necessarily have. And I don't feel like, like it's still a struggle, I get it. But, a lot of people whining about, their insurance or not having, or, oh my goodness, they not eating a lot in college or whatever. Right now I'm living, pretty much the ultimate struggle standing in my car. I have a daughter, right? So I feel like success is my ethical, obligation to be successful for her, so she doesn't have to live through the same thing. Right now she's 1, so she doesn't really understand a lot, right? I try to be cordial with her mom and, try to figure things out, but she always wants to assume that I'm lying until she needs my help, right? That's another thing in itself. But at the same time, I have to be able to focus on creating a path for myself to set my daughter up for success. I love that little girl with all my heart, but the reason why I came to Chicago and the reason why I started my own business was so that I can hand her something foundationally, right? She is my driving force. I don't see her very much, either because of, scheduling conflicts or whatever, but I know deep down in my heart, that's why I wake up, at 4 a.m., hit the gym because, with the military, I have to stay physically fit. It's tough, right? Because I don't have an accountability partner. I'm out here in Chicago by myself. I'm doing a vlog inside of a storage shed because that's the closest thing that I have to a home, right? But I have to realize, and what you have to realize in life is it's not where you start. It's about the process of getting to where you want to be, right? And then, it's one of those things where I've learned the harder that I work, again, the luckier I become, right? And so, my biggest thing to you is just have courage. Continue to fight through. People are going to tell you that you can't do something, right? And this comes from that kind of, the Gardner story in the movie A Pursuit of Happiness. But, like, they're not you. They don't have the same vision. They don't have the same goal. It's like when I start a business, when I hire somebody else, because my structure is built on a 2-man type of system, right? when I hire somebody else, they're not going to have the same passion, right? So it's my job to meet that person where they are and bring them, into the passion, right? Give them ownership. A lot of times when other generations are trying to reach out to us, it's not that we're lazy. It's not that we don't care. It's not that we can't get up early, but we don't feel like that's our thing. We don't feel like that is, our passion. That's not our grind, right? You didn't bring us in. You just want us to do the work for you so you can make the money, right? That's ultimately what it's set up for. We live in a capitalistic society. So it's one of those things where if my advice to other generations is reach out to us, meet us where we are. Let's talk technology. Don't be afraid of it. Don't say, oh, well, you're ruining relationships. I had a conversation with a gentleman, very respectful. I picked him up in an Uber, and they were like, well, you guys in that technology, I'm afraid of losing relationships. It's not that we don't have relationships, it's just we do it differently. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Facebook, right? Those are hot things, right? I mean, there are a bunch of different things that are on the rise right now as well. We got our cell phones, we got text, right? We still have relationships. They're just different. They just changed. That's history. Like, they do things differently than people did it in the 50s and the 60s. So it's not a matter of, we have to get to the point where we're not complaining, right? But we're meeting each other in a positive outlook, right? And then the haters, they're going to continue to hate, right? You always going to have haters. You always going to have somebody that's questioning you, how you doing this, how you doing that. But at the end of the day, they're not living your life. And at the end of the day, if that person goes out of their way to make you feel bad, that means they're miserable. Because only miserable people do that. Only miserable people are focused on what everybody else's shortcomings are, right? People who are happy and content with themselves, who have self-awareness, they're happy with what they're doing, right? They're competing against themselves. I'm not competing against everybody else. And, my thing is I'm competing against myself. How much better can I become during the process?